government has left a large vacuum open with no regulation against these censors. It is allowing the communist Chinese, it is allowing the authoritarian EU, and it's allowing the Hollywood leftist to, by fiat, create a world government censorship system. That's what's going on. Washington has allowed a major vacuum where censorship is taking place. We, the American people, demand that President Trump defend the First Amendment. The incredible lying in Congress that goes on and on and on as big tech heads tell President Trump that they do not censor when they've all admittedly in their own internal videos and documents admitted, not just company-wide at Google or Facebook or Twitter, but they admit that they're working with mainstream media to censor and silent voices of the American people that believe in your agenda to reboot this country and to make this nation great again. President Trump, your only area you're failing right now is because Congress won't let you defend the border and wouldn't give you the funding. We understand. But the place you can take action is as a champion of the First Amendment. President Trump, you've done a great job, but you absolutely must now come to the defense of the First Amendment. Come to the defense of the First Amendment. You must stand against big tech and their concerted efforts to censor Christians, conservatives, nationalists, and everyone else that stands for free speech, that stands for the First Amendment, that stands for the Second Amendment, and more. The internet has become an oligopoly of the big tech giants. Even the head of the EU program admits that that's why Zuckerberg and others are agreeing to censorship with the EU. President Trump, you are allowing the EU and the communist Chinese and big tech to work together to censor. The argument that the government can't regulate these companies is bogus, because foreign nations in the vacuum that Washington has provided are coming in to censor us. The American people stand with you, and they just stand with a reboot of this nation. But President Trump, we need you to act now. We need you to act now, President Trump, in defense of the First Amendment. We need you to act now and move against big tech censorship, President Trump. This is so incredibly critical to the future of this nation and the future of the world. Our media doesn't even criticize communist China working with Google and Apple and others to censor their population and put them in slave factories and to put over 1 million Muslims in forced labor camps in Mongolia. Our own corporate media supports Chinese censorship, and Google is doing a lot more than Project Dragonfly, as you know, President Trump.
Wasn't he hiring illegals?
There is a consensus. There is a consensus to stand against big tech censorship, and it's in the Bill of Rights. It's in the Constitution. You don't be regulating big tech. You'll be stepping in. You'll be stepping in, President Trump, and not letting foreign powers and corporate consortiums fill that vacuum, that power vacuum, and censor Americans and meddle in our elections. Now that you have defeated, and we have defeated, the fake Russia hoax, it's critical to understand it's the Democrat leadership in bed with the communist Chinese and other globalist systems. And they are meddling in our election. The whole Russiagate fraud was meddling in our election. The censorship, blocking conservatives and Christians and veterans being able to speak, is un-American meddling in the First Amendment. Defend the First Amendment, President Trump.
They're using their First Amendment.
Don't let the globalists take our voices away. Stand against the tyranny of big tech, who's in league with the Chaikovs, or you yourself are aiding and abetting President Trump. Don't let the American people that elected you be silenced. stand for the First Amendment. You know about the censorship. You know what's happened. Stand against the fake news.
Violates the First Amendment.
Stand against the fake corporate news that seeks to silence you and that claims criticizing their lies is censorship. It is not. Shutting people's voices to take action against these censors. It is critical for you, President Trump, to take action
Donald Trump is anti the First Amendment. He always has. Wait. He has
You must take action against the globalists. You must take action against the NWO. President Trump, you've done a great job, but the American people need you to defend the First Amendment. You have a clear path to do so. We have the internal documents and videos of Google, Facebook, of the American people. We have the evidence of their collusion. We have the head of Google saying we're doing this to stop Trump winning again. And then they lie to Congress, President Trump. They lie to Congress, President Trump. And they say they've never censored anybody. They never censored a conservative. They never fixed the search for result. Big Tech is lying. Big Tech runs fake news. Protect the American people from Big Tech censorship, President Trump. Infowars.com has been standing for the Republic. So has Newswars.com. And we have honorably been fighting for this republic and its relocation. President Trump. Big Tech must be broken up. Big Tech is working with Communist China. It's working with the EU. It's working with others to openly censor not just their people, but us. This is the foreign election meddling, President Trump. This is the globalism. But America's fighting back. And thanks to your leadership, we're winning. But we need you to stand against Big Tech censorship, President Trump. We need you to move against them. It's your job. And if you don't do it, it's a dereliction of duty. President Trump, the enemy media credits me for energizing the populist networks to help get you elected. Regardless, they're coming after me because they believe I got you elected. We all know that you and the American people got you elected. But I'm surrounded by these globalists under enemy siege. And they have done every criminal thing you can imagine to try to shut me down, just like they've done you. President Trump, America listened to you. We stood up. We got you elected. You defeated the fake Russiagate hoax, but now you must defeat the attempt to destroy the First Amendment. President Trump, please save the First Amendment. Please do the right thing and stand up against Big Tech. It is absolutely, totally, and absolutely critical that you will not win the 2020 election unless you stop the censorship, because they'll steal the election, as they already plan to do, and you won't have the people's voice there when the whole corporate media turns against you. Fox News is already starting to turn against you. Now is the time, ladies and gentlemen. Now is the time to stand for the First Amendment. Now is the time to stand up against the Chi-Coms and the EU working with Big Tech to restrict free speech. Now is the time to stand against these censors and take action. This is the right thing to do. It's the right thing for the country. It's the right thing for America. And the censorship is incredible. And the censorship is un-American. And the censorship is illegal. President Trump, stand up for the First Amendment. It is beyond critical that you stand up for the First Amendment, President Trump. It's one of your only failings, and we need you and the American people and everyone else to make this the #1 issue right now. Because if we don't have free speech, we don't have anything, do we? The answer to 1984 is 1776. The answer to 1984 is 1776. movement that got you elected is being crushed by censors right now. And we need you to stand up against big tech and their lies that I know